What I understand is mostly locals, local investors and high net worth individuals in Nigeria that are driving the rally in the stock market. So it is still not quite fundamentally driven. That is what I understand. But again, stocks are cheap, and if you look at dividend paying stocks that can give you a decent return on your investment, it's looking pretty attractive. So that's again, you have to talk to a financial advisor. You have to look at certain companies. But I can tell you that 2020 is what I and I just opened the show talking about how businesses are going to be struggling with the lockdown being extended. The banking sector. Let's take the banking sector for example. If you look at results from Stanbic, GTB, UBA, Zenith, a few of them. I think a couple tier twos have released as well. FCMB, I think Fidelity. A lot of the banks have benefited from electronic transactions. If you look at their non-interest income, there were some they did pretty well in 2019. Yeah, so and this is good as far as more Nigerians carrying out electronic transactions. So you've seen the transition into fees. However, early this year we know the CBN reduced transfer fees, which a lot of you and have been complaining about. That is the amount of money you spend when you make a transfer. Now it's tiered, right? I think it is thresholds. If you are transferring above a certain amount, you pay, 50 naira. If it's under a certain amount, it'll be 25. Under a certain amount, it'll be like only 10 naira or so. And I think even some banks were like, if you transfer to another person that's in your own bank, you will have to pay a fee. So fee income for the financial sector, as far as the banks are concerned, that is supposed to trend downwards in 2020. There's also ATMs as well, the downward revision in ATM fees, excuse me. That's supposed to affect them as well. So, and then you now look at this lockdown period. You look at the reduction in deposits that are going to be coming in. You look at the challenging environment this year, and it's not just for banks. So if you want to look ahead and say, okay, am I playing for the long term with some of these stocks that I plan on buying, and I'm looking ahead at 2020, what kind of environment are we going to be in? How are they going to perform? So there might be a struggle, but still talk to a financial advisor that will guide you as to what to pick up. But there has been a rally, and if for some of you who already have stocks in the market, as the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. So we've seen the tide in the market pick up, and which has made people pretty it has made people curious as to what's going on. However, look at the macro environment over in the overseas. US stocks are have been volatile. I think they were down Monday, up Tuesday, down Wednesday, yesterday. It's been a mixed bag. That one, we've already seen Q1 results of certain financials come out. So JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, I think Goldman Sachs as well. They all saw drops in their profit after tax for the first quarter of the year. And a lot of people overseas in America have been looking at the banks there as a guide to how the economy is going to be performing for the US. As you know, the IMF has already downgraded the entire globe. America, they're saying, will contract by about 5-6%. So, stocks have been falling there. So you look at that environment where it's like, okay, how, we're still waiting to see Q1 performances for companies here, and so what I'm trying to say is that, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is going a bit against the grain if you look at the macro environment, because normally IMF just downgraded Nigeria. I said downgraded. IMF projected a contraction in Nigeria's economy, 3.4% or so. McKinsey did the same thing. It says about 3.5%. Even the Ministry of Finance, although the answer she gave in her interview was a little tricky, she said without the stimulus that the central bank and Ministry of Finance, without the stimulus they had put in, they had a projection of Nigeria contracting by 3.5%. She did not say what the figures would be with the stimulus. So anyway, if you're an investor, you're a foreign investor, and you're looking at Nigeria now, and you're seeing oil prices, some news that came out today that said, was it just yesterday, that we haven't been able to sell our May cargoes for oil, even though we've offered discounts on our Bonny Lights, version of crude that we sell. So we still have cargoes that are at sea that are yet to be sold for April and May. where we've reduced our budget expectations, our budget benchmark from $57 per barrel to 30. The country is on a well, not the country, but most of the country is on a lockdown, especially Lagos, the commercial capital. Businesses are not moving. You add all these things. When you're a foreign investor, you ask yourself, should I invest in the Nigerian stock exchange now? It's not, if stocks everywhere else around the world are dropping and this one is being propped up, then you scratch your head and say, I don't know. So these are the kind of things you look at when you see the Nigerian stock exchange going, on a tear, and you wonder if you should jump in. So you have to be careful of what's called a liquidity trap. You don't get excited as to seeing the market rallying like this. You now jump in and put your money. Next thing you know, the market starts to tank because it's been pretty volatile. So I don't know. You could see the market could drop, tomorrow or the day after, but for now it's been a rally. And but the explanation I've gotten is from traders. It's not from the international guys, and that's mostly high net worth individuals and locals. Still, I feel like I'm talking from both sides of my mouth. I'm saying this still. It's hard to, this stock market thing is hard to get a grip of. Still, there are fundamental. You just play long term. If you're a long term person and you believe that, okay, I will, and long term is about 3 to 5 years. Put your money in there and say, okay, you know what? We'll ride out 2020. I'll buy some solid names. There's some solid names there. Look at Dangote Cement, for example. He's building a refinery. Lots of cement has gone into construction and so on. You put, okay, fine. His stock is, Dangote Cement is down, 20-30% this year. Wow. So stocks are taking hits. But if you ride out 2020, say COVID-19 will probably end sometime this year, markets will pick up next year. Then whatever losses you take this year, they could come up next year. I say this now, though. There's talk of a second. China shut down their borders. There were no new cases of COVID-19. All of a sudden, some people came back from overseas. China recorded new cases again. So everyone is saying we're in uncharted territory. We don't know what's going on. Will this thing come back? So all these things, you factor all these things into the market. The safest thing is just to invest what you can afford to lose. Make sure they are dividend paying stocks, so you're not just getting capital appreciation. You're also getting a return on your investment in terms of dividends, and you just ride it out. But anyway, if you've been in the markets recently, you would have seen the rally and enjoyed that. But that's my spiel on the market there. I already have messages. Who is this from? Ogene Ochuku from Aja. Palliative buhaha. Palliative can only be transparent if and only if technology is applied through the banks and the telcos. Mobile money, our airtime can be replaced as cash as a means of payment. Good point. Benga Kamu says, Rosos, does the CBN have data of small businesses? Did every small business register? If they have given loans to who and where, another audio loan. Okay, Benga, to that point, that's why they only targeted their intervention funds. The intervention funds where it was at 9%, they dropped it to 5%. It's limited, but in that limited regard, I know that the CBN, even this their 50 billion naira targeted facility that they were looking at helping small businesses, they were like, you have to bring your business plan, you have to be registered, be a tax-paying business, show your history for the last 1-3 years, register this and that. So the CBN, I know, has data on the businesses it has given funds to. The thing is, though, there's still a larger informal economy there. There's still so many businesses that are being affected. So that's the issue. Benga continues, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is a wonder any day. I've been perplexed on how it goes against reason, and it has an endless reservoir of shock absorbers. It is very, very interesting. Let's see. Okay. It was Unduka that sent that first message. It says, thanks for your views, Rotus. Let's see how the market performs today. Very interesting. Let's see here. This is from Mr. Lexi. I think FOMO, fear of missing out, is what is mostly driving the stock rally. People generally believe after COVID-19 storm, a steady scale of prices might occur. Yep. All right, real quick. Let's talk about COVID-19 and CSR. This was a very interesting thing I saw yesterday, guys. And this is a Tech Friday story, but it happened yesterday. If I wait till tomorrow, it will probably become stale. So the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, sent out a tweet yesterday saying that Aso Rock has now been set up with video conferencing due to social distancing. Yeah,
I saw that.
You saw it, yeah? So he shows a picture of President Buhari talking to the COVID-19 task force. And look, you have to give it to them and the Professor Akin Abayomi, Lagos State Health Commissioner, plus Governor Sanwo-Olu, the Minister of Health, all of them daily. They've been giving NCDC, all of them daily updates every single day. Yeah, so if you're not following him, it's Dr. D-R-I-S-A Pantami, Dr. Issa Pantami, Pantami. And he puts out a tweet saying that through the company we have, and he mentions the company there, we have successfully installed video conference facilities in the office of the president to promote social distancing in governance. Recall that it was 2-3 weeks ago, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osaige Hanira, and the Director General of the NCDC went to Aso Rock to give President Buhari a briefing on what was going on with COVID-19. And I remember there was massive social distancing in the hall where he sat with the president. The president sat like 20 feet away from him, and so on and so forth. So I was wondering, couldn't they have done this by video conference? Why do you have to fly all the way there? So anyway, some people are now asking that, okay, this company that has set this thing up, how much did you pay for this? He now responded to a tweet and said it was free. It's a CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not casting any. I'm just saying this will not started a debate. The definition of corporate social responsibility is where a business integrates social and environmental goals in its operations in a charitable manner. So you can imagine a corporation going to go and paint the walls of a school, or donating textbooks, or building a new classroom, all for the purpose of the social and social goals of improving education. Yeah. So when he said the company did this for free, for corporate social responsibility, people started saying, how will a company go and set up video conferencing at Aso Rock and do it for free as per corporate social responsibility? And I went to the company's Twitter handle, because he tagged the company there. I went on their feed, and I sent out a tweet saying that it is per a directive from the Ministry of where is that tweet? I must find that tweet now. I will read this thing. In line with the directive of the Honorable Minister of Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, we will continue to ensure digital communication services is fully operational across the federal and state ministries and agencies. We are building a digital nation. So, if I'm to take the tweet at what it means, that they've been empowered or contracted or whatever to spread this thing across the entire federal ministries and agencies. That one doesn't sound like CSR. But anyway, it kicked off a debate on Twitter where people were going back and forth. Is this CSR? Is it, is it free, and so on and so forth. But look, the overriding point here is that we are seeing, also, it was also a shock to many people that Aso Rock was not set up with video conferencing capabilities. But be that as it may, this is the post-COVID-19 world, where we've talked about how businesses will be affected in the future after this thing passes on over. How video conferencing, the move towards technology, how it will affect communications going forward. So if you use Aso Rock as a case study, they've now adopted this now. The president, they showed him sitting in, the pictures are all there. If you go to the Twitter, in fact, let me even mention the company. I'll mention them just once. I don't want my sales and marketing to come and chop my neck. I'm just going to mention in fact, okay, so the name of the company is Galaxy Backbone. So at Galaxy Backbone. So just go check them out and see their tweets. I mean, it was like, what's this? Which social commerce? So it was very interesting. But the debates just, you're seeing in real time how we are moving forward. And again, I know Aso Rock is Aso Rock. They have government budget to back them up. But then going by other businesses, education, telemedicine, this is where we need to go. So it was a very very interesting debate. All right, let's see. Okay, your messages. You guys are started. Goke from the UK, where they have good internet and teleconferencing there. Goke from the UK says, so Aso Rock now uses video conferencing. Chai. So thanks to COVID-19, Aso Rock is now on video conferencing 2020. He adds an emoji. Rainmaker says the intervention fund that comes in form of loan will mostly fail or go bad. Rainmaker, why now? You guys just mentioned how these businesses are not open and taking hits. If you give any company which is not in essential services a loan, plan that it will fail even with 6 months moratorium. What would have, by the way, the moratorium the CBN gave us for 1 year, so 1 full year. But I continue with Rainmaker's message. What would have made sense would have been bailout for these guys when it is certain they can come back to work. If you give a fashion house a loan now, what will they use it for? Remember, it is a loan, supposed to be used to generate more money. So So if it's just to pay fixed costs, it's already designed to fail. CBN again misusing our funds against SAD. Okay, Remeka, you make a strong point. You make a strong point. I'll give you that one. Henry says anyone who has been listening to this show and still has invested money in Henry, what are you saying? Anyone who has been listening to this show and still has investable money in Nigeria must be very brave or must have a very good reason. I need that. No, look, there's fixed income, or Henry, but the rates have gone down. Where is that tweet? There was a auction yesterday, and the rate, I think, for 91-day T-bills, it was like 1 point. Yeah, there it is. My goodness, 91-day T-bill. This is auction that took place yesterday. 1.93%. The 182-day, this was just yesterday, 2.74%, and for the 364-day, 4%. However, we still saw oversubscriptions, right? So the offer amount for 91-day was 5.8 billion naira, and the subscription was at 13.1 billion. We saw the 182-day offered was 3.5 billion, and the subscription was 12.5 billion. And then for the 364-day, 49 billion was offered, and the total subscription was 109. So the language here is that, look, people are still parking their money in these T-bills. It's backed by the federal government. It is safe, and they don't seem to mind that the rates are so low because they don't really seem to have anywhere else to put their money. They are also probably averse to the stock exchange because of the volatility that we've seen in the market. So, there's still options. Nairametrics had an article on Nigerians moving overseas. We have platforms now in Nigeria, all these digital platforms that are coming up and offering people the chance to invest in companies overseas. I'll give you an example. Walmart, for example. Walmart is in a discount supermarket in the United States that they seem to do well when the economy is going down. The reasoning behind it, from what I was reading, was that Americans, when things get tough, you get laid off, the economy is bad, they go to discount supermarkets. So basically, if you imagine Kellogg's cornflakes now, or any other brand, or Coca-Cola, Walmart has its own brand of cornflakes, so it's cheaper than the international brands. They have their own brand of soda and soft drinks. So people now they cut down, and they're gonna shop at Walmart. So Walmart, their stock, I understand, I think their Q1 numbers are coming out in May. They have been doing well during a downturn. They did well during the last financial crisis. So things like this. I encourage all of you to start look overseas and start reading about which companies are faring well during these economic crises. And again, you get your dividends paid in dollars. Although again, you want to talk to a financial service advisor that will tell you where to put your money and how things are, because the US market has also been volatile as well. But overseas, there's also fixed income, and if you're a big boy or big girl, you can buy into Nigeria's Euro bond. The minimum is $200,000, which is like 76 to 78 million naira. So although there are some funds which are pooling together, or rather some company, I think Stanbic is one of them too. Although even Stanbic, they raised one of their Euro bond offers. The minimum was $1,000 before. Was it $2,000? They raised it to $20,000. But there are options. Stanbic has other options for you to look at if you want to invest overseas. Reach out to them, and you can see what's out there. So there's still options. It's just that one has to be careful, and one has to be shine your eye, basically. Let's see. See, George Kobani is now saying the company that I've mentioned for the CSR talk and that set up the video conference, and they said it's a company with significant government backing. It's a good thing they're being taken seriously now, and he says nice one, but he's putting it out there so people know about these things. He's saying that they're backed by the government. Larry has come and said they are a company set up by the federal government. What they would have done is engage a private company to implement the video conferencing, as they're not structured to deliver such solutions. So you see, when you put these things out there, people who know what's up will now tell you what's going on. So thank you, Larry, and thank you to the other people that have been sending our messages there. You're giving me air traffic controls. We can finally wrap up. All right, hold on real quick here. Let me read this message from Cruz. I trust Cruz. Cruz says, I hope COVID-19 will help our infrastructure set up as well. Cruz, we hope so. We hope so. All right. Okay, so I think that ought to do it, Ayo. That ought to do it. Yeah. Okay. So guys, tomorrow is Tech Friday. I've now used up my Tech Friday story for tomorrow, but we'll still have tech stuff to discuss tomorrow and other issues coming up. Please stay safe. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. If you're a small business owner, I wish you well. It's a tough period. Hang tight. Business Express, we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Rotus. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, 6:40. But in the meantime, at 7:30, join us for Freshly Pressed 981. Enjoy some nice, smooth music.